Today is July the 11th, 2024. My name is Tanya Finchum. I'm with Oklahoma State University with the Oklahoma Oral History Research Program. I am in Edmond, Oklahoma today to speak with Larry and Daneta Blair, who are Santa ambassadors here in the area. So thank you for letting me come to your home today. Before we get into the Mr. and Mrs. Claus uh, experiences with you, let's learn a little bit about each one of you. Start wherever you like.
Okay. We're in my stomping grounds. This is where I grew up, in this area. And we have been together for, we'll have to edit all this out, but
No,
was it ready?
You're
That's
rolling.
fine.
Where'd you go to high school?
I was at school at Deer Creek High School.
Okay. What year did you graduate?
1975.
And were you an only child?
I have 5 siblings.
Okay.
I have older, I have a twin, and I have a little sister. So we are a varied group. And
so where are you in the order?
I'm actually 5. My twin is older than I am, so we were 4 and 5. I'm 5, and I have one brother. Had one brother, and I have 4 sisters. I've lost one brother and one sister, so that's been but the lifelong resident, really right where I am.
Your parents were farmers?
I was raised on a dairy farm. That's really the only thing I'd ever done besides Santa per se. I drove a school bus, but never worked literally for anyone else. And
so how old were you when you learned to drive a tractor? Or did you?
I drove a tractor probably about 6 or 7 was when I started.
Pretty young.
By the time I was 10, my dad would just leave us. We worked 12-hour shifts. So by the time I was 10, I did that a lot. Of course, everybody had to get up and take their turn milking, and evening and morning both. And so we did all that.
Yeah, but by that time, it was electric milker. You weren't having to do it by hand.
We did not do it by hand. We had vacuum milkers. At the very end, we actually had a pipeline machine the last 5 years. But most of it was fairly archaic. We didn't have the cutting edge dairy or anything. It was a good dairy, but not a high tech.
And did your mom make cottage cheese and ice cream?
My mom made everything. In fact, literally growing up, my mom was the typical farm pioneer woman. I'll say that. And all of us kids participated. We lived off the garden. Everybody helped work in the garden. Everybody helped do the cattle. My mom made all of our clothes, literally all of our clothes, and cooked. My parents very active in the community, school, church. We were involved in everything. I will say most of my siblings excelled at something. So we had fun. We did a lot of it together, but it's how we were raised, and literally that's the life that I had until I'm in the process of retiring from farming right now.
So were you in FFA or 4-H?
4-H.
4-H.
FFA was not available at our school. It's funny, our neighboring school had FFA, so the kids, and it was pretty open policy for transfer back then. And so if you wanted to be in FFA, you went to a different school.
So when you were graduating from high school, did you have plans what you might want to do? Was it always farming or?
I really had some aspirations to do other things, and this is not a negative thing, but my dad, because of our family farm, he made it very difficult for us to leave home. Mainly the boys, the girls, not a problem, but my brother and I. And so my brother actually became a school teacher, but my dad figured out that, hey, he's gone a lot of days. He's teaching school. And so I found out later in life that I had some opportunities that I had pursued, and they didn't come to fruition. And I found out he was a part of that.
Okay. He wanted you to stay put.
Yep, and it's okay. I had a very blessed life. We had a wonderful family and a good community. I love every part of it. I mean, I don't regret anything of where I've been in this world.
And what was Christmas like when you were a youngster?
Very Christmas. That's funny because Christmas, all holidays were a big deal. I mean, we got together, our family got together, and we were obviously there was 8 of us, but my dad, his family was close by, so or some of it was, and my mom's family was very close by, so we all got together, big holiday doings every time. So, but Christmas was just a family deal. I laugh because today I love to be Santa. I never actually was around a Santa in my whole life. The first physical Santa I ever saw in person was myself in a mirror. And I'll tell that story if you want it, but
yeah, go ahead while you're there. Might as well.
Well,
and then we'll get to you.
That's fine. But for me, I was married fairly young. My first wife and I were 35 years together. We had 3 children. Neither of our families really celebrated Christmas per se in the Santa mode. In fact, her parents and her celebrated at all of our family get-togethers. I mean, we just adopted them into our family. But she passed away in 2009, and she had cancer. And we had never been in that particular celebration type of Christmas. But my daughter was in college at the time, and my first wife didn't really like facial hair, so I didn't have any. So my daughter went on a trip with some of her friends for 2 weeks, and being the typical lazy Santa, lazy man, I quit shaving. I didn't know. She came home early and she caught me with a beard, just a scraggly beard. And she made fun of me and said, "Dad, you can't do that." And I said, "Why not?" She said, "Because Mom didn't approve." I said, "Well, Mom didn't say I couldn't have this one." And so we kind of had a little gag about it. So I let my beard grow out. And I had no idea that I had a white beard at the age of 52. Came in completely white. My eyebrows had turned white. I didn't know that. My hair is still not white. But anyway, long story short, I started growing it out. It grew out like this. My friends, when I wear a hat and wear my glasses, they go, "You look like Santa." And I just laughed about it. But one day a friend of mine, we were just visiting, and it's a friend, and she's a gal. We had grown up together. And she just said, "Well, got the beard, how come?" She said, "Well, what are you doing with your life?" And I said, "Oh, nothing particularly right now. I'm still kind of in a grief stage." She goes, "Maybe God's telling you something. Do you ever think of that?" "Not really." She says, "Well, you know what? You have the expressions, and you have all the tools you need to be Santa, and maybe you could spread a little joy for a change." I said, "Oh, okay." And so I did not pursue that per se, but a pastor of the church said, "Hey, we're having a deal for kids, underprivileged kids, and we need a Santa." And it's like, I've never been a Santa. You look like one. And so my oldest sister, was a marvelous seamstress. And she said, "Well, if you need a Santa suit, I'll make you one." And she did. And put it on. The first time I ever saw a live Santa was myself in the mirror. And I went to that particular event, and it was marvelous. I mean, I came home that day, I thought, I love this. I want more. And that's where it started for me.
And that would have been like 2010 or
it was in 2011.
2011. Okay, and you've been doing it ever since.
In 2011, I started. I've never advertised to be a Santa, but I consider it a ministry, really. I do. I consider it a calling at least. And opportunities came my way. Even in the first year, I was busy. I got to do things that I know Santas that have done a long time. I got to do some things they've never had an opportunity. It just came my way. And everything was wonderful. And I loved every minute of it. And I still do. And as long as I'm good for it, whatever it is, it's good for me. And I love it. And I'm going to keep doing it.
Do you still have that first suit?
Yes.
Can you still get in?
Yes, I still wear it. Yeah. She actually wound up making me a second one. They're identical. And I still use both of them.
Okay.
And I love
We'll
it.
get into that a little bit later.
That's fine.
Let's shift gears and let's get a little bit about your background.
Let's do that.
Well, I'm a lifelong Oklahoman, born and raised in Oklahoma. My dad was a trooper, so we moved around a lot as a child. Came to Oklahoma City in 1964, so I kind of consider the city home, if you will, because we moved every 3 years as a trooper. Graduated the original Putnam City High School, and we have kind of a similar story in that my husband had passed away in 2011. And I've gone to the same church, Putnam City Baptist Church. In fact, in August of this year, I will have been at Putnam City Baptist Church for 60 years. When we came to Oklahoma City, we joined there and been there ever since. And when Larry came to church in 2011, we knew of each other. I knew who he was, but, that's not why you go to church. So I wasn't looking for a spouse. He wasn't looking for a spouse. We served on the same committee together and literally walked out of a committee meeting one night. He was parked next to me. I had car trouble. He helped me fix my car. We started talking and we haven't stopped yet. So I believe that was God saying, okay, I've got a new plan for you. And I knew he was Santa. You can't not know. But, it was nowhere in my vision or path to be Mrs. Claus. And in fact, we married in October of 17, and his sister, the same one that made his suit, about 2 weeks or so after we got married, she said, will you come over to the house? And she lived just a couple of miles from here. Okay, and went over there, and she came out of the back room, and she had this little red dress. It was a $15 dress that she found at the thrift store. Said, try it on. I think it fits. She said, you are married to Santa. Yeah. And she said, if it fits, I'll put a fur collar on it, and you can be Mrs. Claus. Okay. So within a few months of marrying a wonderful partner, I had the pleasure of being on his journey as Santa, as Mrs. Claus. It's been pretty exciting.
It really is amazing because we talked about everything while we were dating and getting to know each other, but we never talked about being Santa and Mrs. Claus. And I'll be honest, I'm the one that's blind, I guess, but I didn't think about it. I didn't see it. I never asked her to be Mrs. Claus, but I guess all of her friends did because when the time came, she was willing and I was excited. I mean, I thought, wow, this is great. I never worked with somebody, but it has been the most wonderful thing to have her as a partner. And everywhere we go, people remember us because of her. She just has, she's Mrs. Claus embodied. And the kids, if they're hesitant with Santa, and the Mrs. Claus goes, oh, honey, come see me. And they're just like, it's like Grandma Claus. It's wonderful. So, but she's good with all kinds of people. She was meant to be this.
So how do you think you acquired that set of skills, your people skills then?
I have no idea.
Well, are you from a big family?
No. I had two sisters. One I never met. She passed before I was born. No, our family was small. 2 girls, mom and dad.
What was Christmas like for you as a youngster?
We had Christmas. Again, my dad was a trooper. So a lot of times it was a working day for him. Troopers a lot of times will work 7 days a week. So we certainly had it. For me, probably the most, I guess, unfortunate, but it gave a lot of memories was my dad actually made his own bullets, his own ammo. Back in the day, the Highway Patrol would only pay for so many bullets, and he did demonstrations around the state. So he made a lot of his own ammo, and it was Christmas Day, and Mother had called us for Christmas dinner, and he said, "Just a minute." He went out to the garage. This was in Enid, Oklahoma, and said, "I want to put a little bit more lead in the melting pot," because he was going to make some ammo that day. Well, it had snowed. It was a white Christmas day. It had snowed. They put some melting lead in the pot, and it went boom, and our house burned on Christmas Day. Um, and I can remember we went back into the table had been set, so we went back in after the back bedrooms were pretty much destroyed. They were renters. They didn't have any insurance. It was pretty dramatic. Um, but I remember sitting there, and the milk was there, and there's ashes in the milk, thinking, am I supposed to be thankful, or I'm not sure, I felt really conflicted, but I'm thankful that we're all alive. But so that was probably the most memorable Christmas. We didn't have, same thing, we didn't have Santa. It just wasn't a thing. I knew of the character, I knew of the legend, but we really didn't, Santa wasn't part of our world. We never went to sit on Santa's lap or anything like that. So this has been an entirely new universe, entirely new world and adventure.
When you have children, was Christmas and Santa part of raising them?
Not lots.
Not lots.
Again, they knew of Santa. I don't believe I have a single picture of my children with Santa.
Nor do I.
It just wasn't. I guess because we didn't grow up with it being part of the ceremony or tradition, it didn't seem important for us to have it. But they've come along with us along on the journey, so it's been good.
So once you decided to get into this, what did you have training? Did you have to do any type of training, or choose to do any type of training?
We did, and really, again, I give her the credit. We went to our first Santa school because she signed us up, and it was good. We've been to multiple now, but
where was the first one?
we were in Norman.
Mm-hmm.
A guy from California came.
Okay.
His name is Santa True. Very good, very good. It gave us a lot of food for thought. Actually, our careers were different because I started in 2011, and so I had several years before we were together, and so I didn't have any formal training in that period, but it was really good. It was very diversified, and it always felt very natural to me, and so wherever I've been, I've not been uncomfortable. I think the only real milestone for me was as Santa. I did wonder for a while in different times, why am I here? I mean, what? Because I loved doing it, but I wasn't sure that I deserved to be Santa. And I had a couple of moments. One, I was in a very wealthy home, very wealthy. I mean, and I came from a very humble background. And I'm here, and all these people, they're different. I mean, they're good, but they're just different. They have that air about them of wealth, and this one in particular. And it was really funny because I kept thinking to myself, I don't have anything like this, and I don't know how to relate to these people. But I realized then when I was with the kids, they didn't know who I was. They didn't know I came from a farming background. I was Santa. And I realized that's all they were looking for was Santa. And I knew how to do that. I knew how to, and I love the joy of Christmas. That's for me is the biggest thing. I want everyone to understand Christmas is special. It's a happy time. And I don't make rash promises or anything like that, but I'm able to just share, this is happy. This is good. And I realized that's why I'm here. I know where I belong. The second time, and I'll say this, that I learned a lot. I went my first time to go into a hospital, and that's a different world too. And Daneta, it's very special. We go to a lot of hospitals. We do a lot of charity work, and it's great. We've seen things that we can barely hold the tears back because it's so serious. But I remember I went into a deal the first time I went into the Mercy NICU hospital, and it was terrifying. I walked into the room, and this lady's holding this little child that just you can hold in one hand, and she just began to scream and cry, and I was terrified, and I didn't know what was going on. And she was spoken in Spanish mostly, and I don't understand Spanish very well. And I didn't know what happened. I thought something bad had happened. And she just went on, and they finally calmed her down, and she got her composure back. And literally I'm just white. I don't know what's going on, but I didn't run. And somebody said, she's just saying that their baby has been in here for 6 months, and she and her husband, it meant a lot to them. They wanted the first Christmas to have a picture with their son, with Santa, and they could not come. But you came, and I thought, I get it. That's why I'm here. And things like that reminded me, just be willing to go, and it makes all the difference. And so that's why I love it. I mean, I love doing it.
You have the look as well as the persona too. I mean, being able to handle this difficult situations.
They are.
And he has the heart. He
Yeah.
has the heart for it.
But that's why I say it's a calling for me. I didn't see myself in this role, but I love this role. And
So that first season that you became Santa, what were some of the events or gigs or whatever you want to call them did you do?
my very first one was, and I like to talk about it. This pastor had asked me, there was 3 churches that went together. They went to a place that was very, very underprivileged children, very difficult families, situations. In fact, it was so serious. I didn't even understand at the time, but I literally had a policeman arm's length of me at all times because they were concerned about the safety of people in this housing thing. And that's fine. I mean, I didn't know that till later. I learned a lot later, which is probably good.
Yeah.
But they just sent me in, and I was in Santa regalia, and I had my own chair, and I had a big tub of candy. I mean, big tub of candy. And they just said, just talk to the kids, and they can all have candy all they want. Okay. So, so I just started meeting these kids, and I mean, they're poor. I mean, you look at them, they don't have anything. And so I would ask them, tell me your name, tell me something. We just visited. It was just very natural. And every kid I would ask, what do you want for Christmas? And I was just amazed because every kid would get up and say, Santa, I really want something for my little sister. I really want something for my mom. I really want something for my brother. Every kid. And I just couldn't believe it. And, okay, so I don't make promises I can't keep, but I tell them I'll do my best. I always tell them I do my best. And when we would finish, I would tell them, so glad you came. And I said, I want you to have some candy. Oh, okay. And they would just reach in and get a piece of candy. And I said, oh, no, you don't understand. You can have more. Okay. Reach in and get one more. And it's like, holy cow. My kids were young at the time, and my kids would have went double handfuls. And those kids were just like, they're so grateful for that one. How special to have 2. And I said, no, you can have more. But they were really that seriously, just didn't have it. I mean, they didn't have anything. And it just touched me. I mean, because they asked for somebody else. They weren't greedy in any way. And I'd sit there for 3 hours And that's the way it was the whole time. And I mean, they weren't coached or anything. They really knew they were wanting to share with somebody else. And I thought, I love this. I love it. And so for me, I was ready to go from then on. I mean,
That's some emotionally draining.
oh,
Too.
it does. I mean, you know, it takes a lot of heart. And a lot of times, Danita will tell you, especially we go to hospitals, we go to, you know, the Children's Hospital, we go to the Bethany. That is, I mean, but
It's a magical place.
that's yeah. And I see all those nurses and doctors, and they're such heroes to me because, you know, I could see how people could give up on a life. You know, they just said, well, it's hopeless. They don't. And every day they go up and you watch them give and they never stop. And you can't help but invest in that. I mean, you can't. Or at least I can't, I should say. She's the same way.
I'm addicted too.
But
How do you do self-care when after you've experienced some heavy day like that? How do you come down and
you start with it.
You know, for me, it's come to the realization of there was, I can't even remember what year, but I discovered I'm not emotionally able to do 2 of those back to back.
Yes.
So you just need to give yourself some time because it really is, it can become, there's so much joy with being able to see those children experience a little bit of normal because they forget about the sickness or the illness or the tubes or whatever you've got because it's just about Santa and the pure joy of Santa and Christmas. And sometimes we're in a setting where Jesus is allowed. You can also share that Jesus is the first and the best gift. And so to see that pure joy is so wonderful. And yet then there's also been times that we've had a parent or a mom when the life that you're entering into that room is so serious, they are thankful they may or may not even make it to Christmas. And that's very hard. So I walk away with such mixed emotions by the joy of being able to be there and give all of those people some gift. But it is hard, and I need a little bit of time to kind of reset myself and go to a different venue that day or that hour, that next hour, and just give a little time in between settings. But those experiences are indescribable, and to just see normalcy in their life is so evident.
For me, one of the first year that I was Santa, one of the things that I did was the Oklahoma Children's Cancer Association. And that group is still in existence, and I haven't done theirs in several years, but they, and all the kids have cancer. But every year they set aside an event where they bring just those kids and their siblings together. And they bring Santa in, and they have activities. And, part of it is a time with Santa. And so I remember the very first time I did that. And I was scared. I mean, I'd never done anything like that. That was my first experience like that. And I'll never forget how grateful I am for the first little boy that I had. And he came up, and he's got his bag and his stuff is all hooked up with a pole and everything. And he sits up on my lap, and we're just talking. And I ask him his name and how old he was. And we just get to talking. And I'm just thinking, I don't want to say the wrong thing. I don't want to do the wrong thing or anything. But we developed this rapport quickly. And he just started talking about, what he really wanted and it hit me all at once. It's just like, we each got like 3 minutes. That's it. I mean, that's the only time we spent with it. But I looked at him, and we just enjoyed it. And I realized for just that little bit, he got to be a kid. He was just like every other kid. It wasn't the next nurse or doctor or somebody coming in to give him a shot or poke him or give him a test or whatever. He talked about what really he was excited about. And we did. We just talked about it, and I realized that's what's important. He gets a chance for just a few minutes to be in the world that every other kid enjoys, something you really you want to do, something you want to share. And from that point on, I was good. I mean, every kid, I just said, what is it that you want to experience? And things like that have just been precious to me. And you ask about us, when we get involved in it, it makes you hug your own kids so hard.
It does. It does.
Your own grandkids, whatever. Because you realize how blessed you are. You don't deal with that. You don't have to.
True.
But at the same time, we got to impact somebody else in a special way. And
Give him a little bit of hope, I would think.
Yeah.
A sense of hope.
yeah,
In some cases.
we had a call one year that it was Jude 8-year-old boy had leukemia, really bad. It was bad. It's like, can you go to their home and visit? He had an older sister. Can you go home? And it's like, how do you step into a place like that? And we visited. We got to see him
It was easy.
3 times. Same thing. We just shared.
You can't say no.
things
can
like
you?
that.
You have to- you have to
It
do
was
what
so
you
special because we found out that he and his sister both were big Oklahoma City Thunder fans. And we had a chance to connect with somebody with the organization and come back and bring them memorabilia signed by their favorite players. And I mean, it just, it wasn't us, but they were so excited. Even the sister, because, she's has to be around her brother. Everything's about her brother because he's sick. He's really bad. And even then, we didn't know if we'd see him again. And they were a faith-based family, so we got to pray with him every time we were there. And he did recover, and it's a great story. We don't keep up with him much now, but things like that. I mean, that's life-changing for us, not just them, but us. And so, how do you stop doing that?
With Santa, all the boundaries, all the walls go down. But people don't come in with any anger. If they did walk in with anger, it just disappears.
Then you wonder, what is it about Santa that does that? I mean, what's the?
I do think some of that is the legend, certainly, that he's always jolly. But I also believe a lot of it is because one of the things we learned in one of the Santa schools was not everybody is a great Santa, and there's something called resting grumpy face. If you have resting grumpy face, you might need to work on that. I mean, he is just the absolute perfect. He is just what you think of when you think of Santa, and he's such a kind and gentle and wonderful soul. He loves children, and you can't have a wall or a barrier or a boundary. You just can't. It just goes down. It's magical. It really is.
I give the analogy a lot of times that Santa is an anonymous figure. I mean, everybody knows who Santa is, but Santa himself, he's somebody that you can trust or whatever. Me, if you know me personally, I have my own limitations, but Santa's a whole different deal. And I give the analogy a lot of times. It's kind of like being a priest or a bartender or somebody that people just really need somebody to talk to that's safe. And consequently, I mean, even in my career as Santa, I've heard and seen a lot of things I wish I couldn't. I mean, and sometimes I never make promises I can't keep. But I mean, sometimes I can connect them with somebody else. Sometimes they need to go to find a counselor or somebody in the world that can help them. And I can do that. And sometimes I can give them a word or something, but I can listen more than anything else. I'm a safe place to hear them. And like I said, I've heard things that I wish I could forget, but it's okay. I mean, it's okay. I don't wear it. but it stays with you. You don't forget either. I've had I had a time when I had a little girl. She was probably 5 years old, just precious, just a precious little girl, and we were doing family photos, and so I took pictures with her and visited with her, and then the parents came in, and the dad sat on my right and the mom sat on my left, and they were a beautiful family, just looked beautiful. And so we're all sitting there together, and I've already asked her about all her Christmas stuff, and then they're ready to go. And she looks at me, she says, "But Santa, my mom and dad, they're not happy. They fight, and I think they're going to divorce. And I just want my parents." And she just hops off and leaves. And I mean, their parents are just stunned. I just looked at Dad. I said, "Dad, you heard what I heard?" "Yeah." "Is there a problem?" "It's bad." I said, "You know what? You still have time to make a difference. Somebody out there loves you. You guys see if you can work it out." We just talked for a minute, and they went on. I don't know what happened with stuff like that, but it's just an opportunity to say, "Look, you can still make this. Give somebody some hope." I said, "This is Christmas time. Maybe this is the time we could get back together." I don't know what happened, but things like that. I mean, you never know. You just never know. So,
And are these events, besides hospital and church, are they in individual homes or other venues?
Yes, we do just about
we
anywhere.
do just about anywhere. We've done that. Was actually at a mall. I mean, that one was. We've done.
You've been a mall Santa?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
That's got to be a little different. I've not interviewed a
it
mall
is.
Santa.
We have worked for the. It's actually the Northwest Oklahoma City Rotary Club. They have had a booth at North Park. The shop's at North Park now. It used to be North Park Mall. They have done it for
49 years.
49 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been doing it. I have done it since the first year. Actually, since the second year I was Santa. I've worked for them. And the reason I do is because their operation is 100% charity. They do everything. It's a wonderful operation. They use first class everything. But every penny that they make above their cost, and their cost, they use volunteers. I mean, now they do pay us not very much, but they do pay Santa a little. But everything else is volunteer and done by donations. And they take their funds and they put them in worthwhile organizations.
It's the only mall Santa that is charity based.
All 100% done. All their money goes, and they have people. They pick about 8 different charities every year to donate to, and I hope it's not. But I mean, they give tens of thousands of dollars to multiple charities every year. It's a wonderful deal, and that's why we participate in that.
But it is, to your point, it is a different experience.
Mall
to
Santa
be
is
a mall Santa.
very
It
different.
is.
I'm thinking, how do you end the line if
You can't.
If you need to go?
It's a struggle.
You can't.
When the line is long, yeah, we have gone overtime a lot of times just to try to facilitate. And it's also by the same token, you go at times and nobody's there, and you just sit and watch the clock. But it's changed a lot over the years. When I first started, they did 7 days a week, 10 hours a day. And
beginning like in November or after
I
Thanksgiving?
started in
Black
December.
Friday. They usually start on
They always
Black
start on Black Friday.
Mm.
But now they've cut down their hours to, and they do shifts. They do just 6 hours a day, 3-hour shifts. And so used to, it was, for several years, it was just 2 of us that did it. But now they use multiple Santas. And Santas like to donate. A lot of the Santas, that even the ones that you've talked about, they've done their shifts, and I still do. I don't do a lot of them now, but I still do them.
Do you know sign language or?
I do not. It's one of the things we talk about every year. We need to learn that.
Mm-hmm.
But the guy that does that every year, he's terrific. His name's Gary, and he is grand. He's great.
Well, I guess you don't necessarily have to communicate that way. It just happens, doesn't it?
Yeah, but it's special. They do signing Santa Day. We do a lot in the same organization, the the Rotary, every year they offer all of the area schools a day or two to come and bring their special needs kids, and just set aside time. They don't open up for the public. It's just for the special needs kids, and so we do that. We do that most of every year.
So I'm assuming you have a schedule and an appointment book.
Oh my goodness.
When do you
It's
start filling
crazy.
that in? Like once the season's over, when
We're
do you
about
start with for the next-
75% full right now.
already?
Mhm.
Okay.
We're
Maybe higher.
We're probably close to that by January the 15th.
Because a lot of them
Or
will say,
receipts.
Yeah, they
I'm gonna
just
do the
say,
same
I want
thing
to,
next year.
put us on it next year.
and then we start in February. I take January off, exhausted by Christmas Day.
Yes.
Don't look at anything in January. And then February, we start putting all the requests together and say, okay, which one? Because some people have to shift and change, and we can do this way. So there's negotiation that goes on about which day and which time works. And they're all very.
And who does that side of this?
She's by far the best, but we do it together.
We do it together.
We do it
Do you have a
together.
computer program
Oh, yeah.
or
Oh, yeah.
spreadsheet or
Well,
something?
it's a spreadsheet. That's right. The world runs on Excel, doesn't it?
But you ask what we do. I mean, we do literally our Santa world is varied. We do everything, and we love doing it. I mean, I'll start by saying one of the things we do every year is we do a dog show, and it's where they actually show dogs. I mean, competition wise, and they have a 4-day event. Now, they have them all over the place, but we just do one every year, and we love it. And that's interesting. It's fascinating. I love doing it, but I wouldn't want to do that all the time. But it's so funny because the dog world is it's like children because they're all different. They're little bitty dogs. There are huge dogs. There are well-mannered dogs. There are ill-mannered dogs.
Yeah. That
Dogs.
weekend is about a 3-roller weekend.
We
Lint
use
roller,
lint roller to get the dog
There's
hair
a lot
off.
of hair.
We do that every year. We love that. But we do corporate stuff. We've been blessed to have some big corporate jobs. We love those. But we do family home visits. I will say I have actually the furthest I ever went. I went to Wichita, Kansas one time to do one for a friend, and that was before we met. And but a family had their children. Their son was in the military, and he'd been stationed in Europe and hadn't been home. They hadn't seen their kids in 4 years, and they wanted Christmas. And so it was actually the second week of January when they got to come back from Europe. And so I drove up and we had Christmas, and it was wonderful. It was so funny because in that particular event, the kids, they hadn't been around Santa for 4 years. Some of them were a little older and they'd already given up on Santa. But I got to work with grandmother, and I told her, just tell me everything you could think of, and I'm going to cheat as much as Santa can. And I knew a lot of things, and then when they came, they just, first just kind of shoved me aside, but I would mention this or that. I knew what some of their cousins that lived in other places got for Christmas, and that was a big telling point. And by the time it was over, we had the greatest evening, and they were all Santa believers. Mom and Dad were thrilled. Grandma and Granddad, they were just over the moon. It was
Grandma
great.
to the rescue.
It
There
was.
you go.
You have to be a little PI then.
Mhm.
as
That's
well.
right. That's exactly right.
Mhm.
I tell everybody, just help me know as much as I can. That's all I ask.
Well, you were flying pretty high coming home that night.
I was.
weren't you?
It was wonderful. But there was it's like anything else. It was a special moment for them. I mean, those kids will never forget that night. And I won't either.
How many suits do you have? You mentioned the dog having to do that. How many did you still have? Two?
I just had the two.
two.
We're looking for a third now. But
So describe it I know there's different kinds. So let's describe your suit.
mine is a Coca-Cola suit.
Okay, so
It's red and white. Yep. And mine is made out of drapery material, so it wears like iron. And
It's hot.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
yep, it's hot. But my sister that she was a marvelous seamstress. She made my hat, my knickers. I have 2 pair of knickers and 2 coats. She made all the shirts. I have 8, 9 Santa shirts. She made all of them. She made the fur. She put all the fur on everything that goes with it. On my boots, I even have fur on my boots. And so, the only thing I had that I've worn to every event, and I've completed 13 years, is I wear the same pair of boots to every event, and they've
been resold.
Yeah, they've been resold.
They've been around the block.
But I have worn them to every single event that I've had.
Do you remember where you got them to begin with?
I bought them at Langston's. They're just Justin Roper boots. I had a friend of mine. He owned a leather shop, and I said, "You need to put some fur on those rascals." He goes, "Oh, I could do that," and he did it. And that's the other thing. Everywhere I've been, when I needed something, somebody has come and taken care of whatever I needed. This guy I don't even remember how I met him, but he was it was interesting because for him to put the fur on my boots the way I paid him is I went to his daughter's school and I was Santa at the school. He went to a little private school and that's how we traded it out.
So do you dry clean it, or do you drapery? You can't wash it, so you'd have to dry clean it, I guess, at the end of each season.
And you have to store the fur and clean the fur. There's some maintenance to it, for sure.
Do you usually do your events in the all the red, or do you do the suspenders sometimes?
Most of my events are done in the suit.
In the suit.
I like to take the coat off when I can.
Okay.
And so.
Suspenders would be there then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. He always wears suspenders.
I always have suspenders.
How about gloves?
I wear gloves. I didn't always, but I do now.
Can you explain why the reason for switching to wearing them, or was there a reason?
For me, when I started out, I didn't have them, and nobody really said anything. And interesting, I had one guy that always said you should wear gloves, and I said, and I liked the feel of just having my hands, but I especially got used to wearing gloves, and especially when we had the pandemic, it was important because I would always both of us wear them, and we keep multiple pairs with us at all times, and now we're just kind of used to it. The other thing is, I'm a farmer. So I've had times where my hands I had an injury or something, and that makes a difference. I can cover it up.
Well, you could always say, "I heard it in the workshop," in the wood shop making the toys.
I could. I spin a yarn. Yeah.
Do you have a few in your pocket? A few yarns in your pocket to cover some doubters or whatever you might have.
I don't tell a lot of it, and the reason it's really funny because I'll go back to when I talked about going to Wichita. Working with a grandmother was fine. Working with a grandfather, he was going, well, I'm going to tell the kids that he was going to make up something about why I was there, and I said, you want to help me out a little? He goes, yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm helping you out. I said, good, help me out. Don't say anything. He goes, why? He says, because kids' imagination are better than your stories. And whatever you think you tell them, they're thinking, that doesn't make... But if you don't tell them anything, they put it together. And they can ask me, and if they ask me, I'll have an answer for them. I said, it might be a little vague, but it'll still be their answer. And so it was the best thing I ever did because he stayed out of it. And it was funny later on to hear some of, why are you? Yeah. And so mainly I just said, you know what? I miss seeing you at Christmas for the last few years. And we left it at that. And it was great. So I just said, let the kids, they're their imagination is stronger than we are.
And if they have questions, they will ask.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to give them a big explanation. They will ask.
And
if
you
they
don't need to go
don't
to a lot of
understand.
detail. Just something they can work with.
They ask where the reindeer are.
Mhm.
Oh, everybody does.
Mhm.
Yeah. We always tell them the reindeer are resting.
And what if you can't remember all their names?
Oh,
you practice that
You want to
before?
tell them that?
Well, you'd have to demo that.
Well,
Yeah, let's go.
One of
There's
the
something
things,
called a reindeer Macarena.
all of the Santas around here use the reindeer Macarena.
You've really not heard of that?
You know what the Macarena dance is?
Yes.
Okay. Well, you can remember the names of the reindeer very easily. And every Santa will go, that's it. But it's what we do. You ready?
Kids like it, sure.
You can do it stand up. You don't sit down.
We have to sit down.
Do what?
I think we should stay seated.
We'll stay
Be
seated.
out of the picture.
Okay, it's just the Macarena.
Okay, if you're gonna,
We-
give you some wiggle for your hands.
Okay.
Okay.
And we do it with the kids. We just tell them, just
Stand
do
up.
what we
Usually
do.
they stand up.
Yeah, we stand up with them. Just do what we do and say what we say. Okay. So the Macarena, the reindeer Macarena. Ready? Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid, Donner, Blitzen, and Rudolph. And so we always remember, and then they can remember the names of the reindeer pretty quickly. That's how we remember them all.
That's good. I'll have to teach my grandkids.
Oh,
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you sing with them and do other things, or that just mainly?
We do
We'll do
everything.
just about anything.
If we are asked to perform, we can do it. We can sing. I'm not much of a dancer, but you don't have to be really.
Do they ask for a particular song?
Usually. It's usually Jingle Bells or Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, but that's okay.
And
He's got a great voice. He's a great singer.
I
So
was going to
that's
say, can
that's a
you
big
carry
advantage.
a tune? Well, that helps.
It helps.
It does.
She sings. She's good, and she's a wonderful storyteller. Book. We take books sometimes, and she'll read to them. She has, I do the night before Christmas because that's the traditional deal. But she has one, Mrs.
There's a
Claus.
Mrs. Claus
Mrs.
version
Claus,
of The Night Before
That
Christmas.
was the night before
I'll
Christmas.
give you that memorabilia if you'd like one.
And so it's fun. Yeah, and we have other games we can do and things like that. That's one of the things I'll give credit. Santa True, when we went to his school, that's one of the things he really made an impression on me. I was just Santa before that. And I loved it, and it was good. Nobody ever complained. Everybody said, you're a good Santa. But he taught us to be Christmas performers. And that's what he calls his school, the Christmas Performers Workshop. And he just says, that way, regardless of where you go, you have a repertoire. And you can share. And it's really funny, some things we don't do them all. I mean, like, one of the things we talked about the night before Christmas, but he he taught us you could sing that, but you could sing it to all kinds of different songs. I mean, because of the meter and all. I mean, it's like everybody knows kind of the tune of the Beverly Hillbillies. You can sing it to that.
Well, now you're going to have to do pick something for us.
But
Beverly Hillbillies is fine. I know that.
the Beverly
There you go.
Hillbillies.
There you go.
Whichever one's easier, just.
'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there.
Excellent.
Just keep going from there.
So do you have to refresh your memory before each season, or it's just there?
It's like any performer practices. We should practice more, but you need to be prepared. I mean, that's.
Well, how do you enter a room? Do you do your, I know you don't say ho, ho, ho necessarily, but how do you?
A lot of times you do. I have a wonderful set of bells, and I like to ring the bells as I come. You hear them coming, it gets attention, and we like the bells too. We take pictures with kids, little ones especially. We'll just give them to the photographer, and and they're good bells. I mean, not all bells are created equal, but these are really good ones. And so they will snap their, they'll look at the bells and they get the picture looking at the camera, things like that. So we enter the room. We usually focus on us. And she's beautiful, so I just try to get their attention, but they love her.
And then when you exit, say Merry Christmas
Merry
or
Christmas.
Happy Christmas or
Yep.
whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Sometimes if we have activities that are appropriate, like especially if somebody's given them all gifts, we don't mind sneaking out. If they're all unwrapping things, but most of the time it's a good night.
And do you go in between events? If you don't come home, do you stay in character?
Mhm.
And when you stop places, like if you have to
It takes a while because you're not going to get out for quite
Yeah.
a while.
Yeah.
pack your lunch with your lunch then, huh?
Absolutely.
We really do. I don't know. We're talking about slowing down, but for us, a day, 12 hours plus is not unusual for us.
It's 7 days a week.
And we
12 hours a
do.
day.
Yeah, our season. I mean, last year we figured that we did over 400 hours in 2 months. We did over 80 events. Some of them are long, some of them are short, but most of them, we do a lot of long events.
Do you have to do PR for that, or by now it's just word
Sometimes
of mouth?
we may have to do a video or a photo shoot or something like that they use as advertising. Certainly if it's a corporation. Or
Yeah, corporate
public
stuff
setting.
is usually the ones. And I was going through the list. I was going to tell you, but we do schools, churches, businesses, home visits.
Dog shows.
We do a lot of hospital stuff. Yeah, dog shows.
Nursing homes?
We have done some. We
Mhm.
do a senior living center down in Oklahoma City, and we've looked at doing more, but
You don't have time.
we don't.
that's what I was saying. We turned so many people away already. It's embarrassing.
So you don't have to market yourself
Never
No.
have.
at all.
Never have.
Word of mouth is the best marketing you can get anyway. When you go to hire somebody, don't you always prefer that using someone that has had a pleasant experience? So
You're on some people's Rolodex.
Mhm.
Well, used to be people's
Yes.
Rolodexes.
No, you're right.
we know about Rolodex.
Yeah. But we're very blessed in that respect because, like I said, we find a lot of people that are looking for us. They don't know how to find us. We don't advertise. We've turned away a lot of high-profile people.
Do you do parades? Or have you done parades?
Yeah, I've done the Oklahoma City Downtown Parade. We've done the Cash in Town Parade for years. We love that. And one of the things we do love, the people that we it's just like I talked about high profile things. We have a little school that we do, a preschool. It's called Stepping Stones. And we love them. And they're just a little bitty preschool. But we never fail to do them because they're just precious. In fact, I talked to their administrator just a couple days ago, and here it is July. And we set our calendar for them this year. And
Do they take pictures there, or do you have
I
a
go to
photographer
them.
with you when you do
nope,
that?
they take their own
They do their
pictures.
own.
But we've got both. Some people provide a photographer, and some of them let them use their own devices. So it's whatever the appropriate venue wants.
But that's one of the things for them. They could never afford what we could ask, but we love being there, and I've done them now for my whole career, and so I just whatever you can do, that's fine. But I love doing it. I just love doing that bunch.
There's some negotiating room.
Oh, yeah.
For fees or no fees.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But we've done Christmas in July for the last 4 years. It's funny because it just gets to be a little bigger. And our season runs, we always start by the 1st of November, if not before. And every year our season usually ends with we donate our time to the Tim Tebow Foundation Night to Shine, and it's always in February or early March. And so our season usually runs a little long.
A little longer.
So this year, it was actually in February, I believe, this year, but it was in Norman, and we went down, and that's where they do an adult prom for kids for and I don't know if they call them special needs, and if I'm saying it wrong, I apologize.
That was
But
special needs.
from ages 18
And up.
to whatever, to 80 or 90 or whatever, but it's all adult stuff, and it's big. Sometimes it's 300 or 400 people there.
And just one Santa?
Mm-hmm.
And just one Santa? And Mrs. Claus?
Mm-hmm.
So we donate to that, and it was amazing. We got to meet Tim Tebow one year. That was our first Christmas. Was it? It was in 18. It was in 2018.
Second.
He had flown in because Tim has a rule. He will not visit with anybody except the prom goers, the special needs people, and
Or take pictures.
or take pictures with the
Because
volunteers.
it's about the guests.
Because it's
not
all about them. It's
the
their
celebrities.
night. It's their night to shine. But he had flown into Oklahoma City. His plane had trouble, and he wound up spending quite a bit of time in our prom. And I don't know, somebody told him about us, but I had knee replacement surgery.
About 4 weeks before.
Yeah, it was about 4 weeks before.
He should not have been
And they-
moving around.
And they told me, but I did the whole night. I never took time off enough. But Tim heard about that, and he actually came, and he thanked us, and he took a picture with us. So that's pretty special.
Yes. Get his autograph? No.
No, we didn't ask for his autograph, but we have his picture.
I'm not sure he would have given it.
Yeah, no. And
He's a
Santa,
very
Santa
humble.
probably shouldn't have asked for it either.
But it was
Very humble man.
Yep. It was,
So was the knee because too many people have sat on the knee?
No. He's a
farming.
farmer.
That was a farming accident.
We call that the mad cow incident. So,
Yeah, I actually had my cow. I had a cow that took. It was bad.
he's had several mad cow incidents. Farming is dangerous.
It can be asked. Yeah. So what are some of the negatives for being Santa? Help. I mean, I know there's probably not many, but sitting too long or
For us, we really haven't experienced
And-
many bad things.
okay.
I'm
Too much sugar. Too many cookies. Everyone brings me cookies. I cannot say no to a cookie. He can. He can't in public because then they
I
they
always
bring
take
Santa
them.
a
I don't
cookie.
always eat them.
See, I finished the cookie. That's the problem. He only takes a bite. I finished the cookie.
We've really been blessed. I mean, we've never missed an event
Okay.
for illness or anything. We've had a few cancel at the last moment because of it was. I mean, and that again, that's when you learn to deal. We were going to one. There was this last year, and the lady, the wife that invited us, her mom passed away the night before, and so we had to cancel that. And that was sad, but we've been very fortunate. Even bad, we've been out in terrible conditions over the years, and
We've
Never.
had some snow days in December.
and we've always made it where we needed to be.
COVID was tough because we had a lot of outdoor
COVID was hard.
events. They would put us outdoors, which is
We like the frozen.
fine or not. It's very cold in the winter.
And,
The tree farm on a snowy day was pretty.
yeah, Mrs. Claus didn't have enough clothes.
I struggled with that one.
Need some red tights.
I needed a coat and a vest and a hat and everything. It was pretty cold that day.
What color is your vehicle? Or do you ever,
We do not have a Santa colored vehicle.
Okay, that was.
Red or green. We do not have a red or green vehicle.
How about license plate? No. That's indicative of being Santa. No.
We've got a little windshield thing that you put on the wiper thing. That's pretty fun. But
Well, you don't
We
really-
try to be fairly incognito.
Okay, yeah. So even off season, do you get, if you go into like Walmart today, not with those shirts on, but the regular shirts, to someone
He certainly does,
You get-
absolutely.
come up and say,
I have it a lot. Yes.
and your eyes are blue, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm amazed sometimes because, especially when I really was in full farmer mode, I'd be dirty and, ragged, and have people and people I didn't know, of course, but I mean, just like Santa kids. I still have kids come up, and I love it, but at the same time, I was like, really? I mean, I'm surprised you see Santa in me today,
So you
But-
can't be seen going in and out of a beer joint. Or
That's right. The good news is we don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Really,
We won't. We
that
won't
is
be
one
sick.
thing, because of who she is, and I guess me too, but we really are never out of character.
Okay.
We don't do anything that we're ashamed of, and we're always ready if somebody is really pigeonholing us as Santa or Mrs. Claus. We're ready. I mean, it's okay. We'll talk.
And somebody said that to me one time about, are you afraid of who's watching? No, but what I do know is who is watching.
Yeah.
And that's my first commitment, is to make sure that I'm paying attention to who's watching up there. The rest is irrelevant. I'm good. As long as I've got that one covered, I'm good. So we don't have to worry too much.
But it really is special to have kids just come up and, and to me, it's a matter of trust. They trust who we are, and they don't know us except, Santa, and adults are a little tougher because sometimes, especially it seems like moms, they want you to be, their disciplinarian, their bad guy, and that happens a lot. And so we try to deflect, and say, oh, Mom just wanted to make sure that you guys understand how special you are when you're good. And we're not going to say, you better straighten up, you're not getting anything. We're not that. That's not us. But,
Or have you had dealings with people who didn't think Santa should be doing this?
oh, yeah. One of the funniest things was back to being a mall Santa. I was at the North Park Rotary for the Rotary, and they would let us, take a break. I hardly ever did, but one day I was in costume, and I went into they have some eating places in there, and I just went in to get a drink, really, just a soda pop, and there was a table with 10 ladies, and they were all older than I was. But, you could tell it was just a good time, get together bunch of gals. But I'm walking in, and I'm getting my stuff up at the fountain, and I hear this one lady in particular, Santa, it's awful the way that they've commercialized Christmas and ruined the meaning of Christmas. And she just went on and on. It's like I can't hear. I mean, it's almost funny because I'm like, I didn't say anything. I didn't acknowledge them or anything. And somebody else made a comment or two, but she was just over the top. And so when I got my drink, I just walked around by their table and I leaned into her ear and I said, I just want you to know that all good Santas know that Jesus is the reason for Christmas. And she just burst out crying. I mean, she just burst out crying. So I apologized. She goes, no, I'm sorry. And I said, I just want you to know that Santa knows. The real Santas know the reason for Christmas. And we were good from then on.
Mhm.
And all the rest of them, they got their attention. But yeah, I've had some real detractors. And it's okay. It's okay. I'm not for everybody. Nobody is. Even Jesus gets rejected.
True.
So
You had a good way to handle that.
Mhm.
it was special because it was just the stark difference so quickly, from being.
Like to let the air out of her balloon. Really.
Yeah. And I wasn't trying to be mean, but I just wanted her to know I believe in Jesus too. So That's one of the things I kind of wanted to talk about that.
Okay.
One of the things we had done, we've done so many things. I mean, we really have. We've been in a lot of wonderful. We do the Cowboy Hall of Fame. We do their stuff. We love things like that. Special. We meet people from all around the world, and that's great. But for years, we did all these different things. We worked in banks, and we did a lot of stuff with banks. It's surprising how many uses Santa, and we've been able to do that. Lots of businesses, but we always said we wanted to be in church. And surprisingly, there was not an opportunity in our own church. They just didn't. And so we had prayed about that because Sundays were fairly open. We still had things. We did home visits and things, but we would like to be in a church. And
Sundays are not open anymore.
about 3 years ago,
I think so. Maybe 4. This
maybe
is 4.
Yeah, I bet it is 4. All of a sudden, out of the blue, we just started getting calls from churches, and it was wonderful, and mostly still to take pictures, but now we get to interact sometimes. Like they'll put us in children's church, so we'll get to visit with them, and I love it. I mean, I love doing that, and we have our we always tell them, Jesus is the first and the best Christmas gift. And I know not everybody, feels that way. I know that Santa really is not a preacher. But I don't want to be a preacher. I just want to be an ambassador, which is, that's what you introduced us as. And so it's been terrific. We have been in several churches now, and now we find that they do Thursday night services and Saturday night services and Sunday services. And we have gone to a lot of churches, and we love doing that.
4 years ago, you're thinking maybe COVID had something to do with that turnaround. I don't know. If it's been 4 years.
Well, so it's been more than that because we had COVID year where we were in churches too.
Yeah,
we were in churches.
We actually did, and we did Santa with masks on. We did a lot of stuff.
That was not my favorite year.
No.
The smile with your eyes, it works, but it's still, for the children, that year to me was especially hard because we were either behind a screen in a bubble. There were a lot of different ways that they could do it. But the problem is, if you made the setting where you could get a picture, that's great, but the child didn't get to talk to Santa. And that's really a whole lot of the experience, is for the child to get to have, they're so mesmerized by the fact that I get to speak to the legend, if you will. And that was gone. Even when they did get to speak to them, we would, if there wasn't a wall or a barrier between us, we had to wear masks. And certainly it was okay. It's better than nothing. But it was very different. It was not, I don't think it was as rewarding for anyone.
No.
Well, the entire COVID experience, I guess you could say that.
It was difficult.
Was your business less? I mean, did you do less things, or you
Not
just
really.
had to
It's
adapt?
funny.
It was different.
Yeah,
but
it was
wasn't
different,
less.
but it wasn't really less. We've been very blessed. I mean, our calendar remains full.
We had a wonderful friend that made Santa masks. I mean, they match our,
Outfits,
we
yeah.
have matching masks, and they have Santa on them, and so we just rolled along.
So are
It
you
was great.
still wearing the red dress?
Uh-huh.
The
Well, now I've made a second one.
okay.
It doesn't look nearly as good as the one Ruth gave me, but I still use her fur.
Do you have a hat too?
I do not.
You do.
I do not. I looks pretty silly in a hat, so
Yeah.
sillier.
Her hair-
I should
Miss
say.
Claus has a
This
little
is
bit more
really
leeway,
her
doesn't
natural
she?
hair. She's meant to show this
Oh,
off.
please.
It is. She doesn't dye her hair.
Well,
Me,
she-
I-
You know,
has a
sometimes
little
if I'm
bit more
outside, my cape has a hood, but no, I don't.
Yeah.
No, I don't typically wear a hat.
And you, it's a shorter dress, or is it too?
No, mine's
too
longer.
Longer.
That's longer.
Have an apron with pockets.
I do not. I do not wear. I try to really complement his look, so I've just got a long red dress with a black belt that kind of matches his, and then white fur, and I've got fur on my boots. So we just try to make sure that whatever we wear, we always are complimentary of each other. That we're not in conflict.
if you want just interesting stories, I have two that come to mind.
Go to it.
He has about 300, but we'll
I
start.
try to keep slow. But I was thinking about, are the times that Santa's ever afraid? I've had two in particular stories that are events that have happened to me that probably the most, this sounds funny now, but the most scared I ever was at the Western Heritage Center, National Cowboy Hall of Fame, Western Heritage Center. I was there one night, and it was a beautiful night, but they had Santa come in. There was a crowd of about 400 that night, I believe. And this is before Daneta was with me. This is before Daneta was with me. And they had Santa come up on a stagecoach. And so they took me around. We were down behind the building, and so they take me and they put me up on top of this stagecoach, and it was fine. But I don't know, not most people, I'd never been on a stagecoach before, but to get up to the driver's seat, they just have little foot pegs about that big around, and you climb up, step to step. And they said, but don't grab anything up at the top because it's ornamental. Okay. So I just barely get up there. And I'm thinking, and it's higher than you think. I didn't feel unsafe in the carriage. But when we came around to the building, and everybody is outside, and they're all clapping and glad to see Santa. And now I have to get down. And I realized I was wearing a prosthetic belly. I can't see my feet. I can't see the little pegs.
Oh, no.
And so I am literally terrified. And so they said, come on down, Santa. And I don't know what this, I got to try. So I'm backing down over the side. I thought, this is going to be ugly if Santa falls. And I'm kind of hanging over the edge a little bit. And I really am at the point, I don't know what to do. And I feel somebody grab my foot and they put it on a peg. And I lean down and they grab my other foot and they put it on a peg. And they go all the way down. You step on the wheel and all. And I get to the ground and I turn around. And there is the biggest cowboy I've ever seen in my life. And I just hugged him. And I said, you are my hero. And it was the most terrifying thing I've ever done, is get off of a stagecoach. Which is funny because the other story I'm going to tell, I got a friend of mine called me and said, hey, there's the group getting together, and I forgot what organization it was now, but it was over in Yukon, Oklahoma. And he gave me the address. He said, I want you to go over there because they really want to Santa, and I really want you to do it. And they gave me the address and all. Great, no problem. So I go over there that night, and I get there on time, and I drive to the address he's given me, and I don't see anybody. I mean, there's no cars in the driveway. There's just a porch light on, and I'm thinking, I'm getting out and I'm looking at the address. I'm at the right place, but this doesn't feel right. That doesn't look right. And so I'm trying to decide what to do. I'm kind of in front of the house. The door opens. And the guy comes out, and he's holding a gun. And he goes, what are you doing here? And you know what? That will get your attention. Really? It got mine. And I said, I am so sorry. I am looking for such and such a dress. Yep, that's here. Well, I was invited to be a part of a gathering for Christmas. And I'm Santa. I hope he figured that out. I'm in a suit. And he goes, you're not supposed to be here. My daughter saw you outside the window, and she's terrified. I don't think she's any more terrified than I am. And so, anyway, I just thought, I'm really sorry. I just apologized. I said, but this is and I showed him. I actually had it on my phone. I said, this is really the address I gave. He goes, well, it's not here. Okay, well, so he goes, but we just moved in here. there was another family here before us. Because I tried to call my friend and I couldn't get a hold of anybody. And he goes, but I know where they, and so he tells me the address of where they moved to in town. So I go to the other place. But he explained finally, he said, he's a policeman. And he said, you really did scare my daughter. And I really did apologize. But that was probably the most second terrifying. The wagon was number one. But that was probably the most scary thing I've done beyond that.
I think the gun would have been more scary.
No, I knew I hadn't done anything wrong. I didn't think he would shoot me just because. The wagon, I thought I was going down. But, so there are moments that, you just never know.
You probably got a lot of high moments.
A lot more.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I mean, it's like I went to back to when I was at the children's cancer deal. One of the things I loved every year, it was in a 2-story building, and there's a big kind of a grand staircase coming down. But every year when I would come in, they surrounded me with military escort, different branches of the military. And I mean, I felt 10 feet tall being surrounded by these guys. I love stuff like that. It's a grand entry, and I'm just part of it. But I loved it. Things like that are so special. So.
Has some of the reception or perception of people changed in the times that you've been doing this, in the 10, 15 years? I mean, can you see if there's a trend?
I'm going to let you start with that.
I think maybe in general, and I do think that has been a shift since COVID. It feels like it's getting back to more normal. But for the first year or two after COVID, they still seemed very tentative, almost concerned to approach, almost just uncertain about lots of things. And for children, I especially saw the children then that were isolated for so long. It was hard for them to have basically a one-on-one relationship with not that we're strangers, the character is not a stranger, but it was just the closeness they hadn't had the closeness of another human relationship for a while. So that's taken, I would say, at least 2 years for that to really kind of get back to normal. It seems to be gone now. They will run right up and hug you and touch you and not be afraid, where they would almost stop with I'm not sure I can touch you anymore. So that's been the most evident thing to me.
Yeah, that's what I would have said too. The change, the perception of you could actually interact. Mm-hmm. I think the other thing that changed a lot was, especially after a couple of years, people were so hungry to get back to Santa, and they missed the opportunity to have Christmas in that fashion. And I mean, it was funny because you went to where a lot of Santas struggled to find anything to do in the COVID times. We were blessed. We had plenty. But now all of a sudden, you couldn't fill all the dates. I mean, everybody wanted Santa. Everybody wanted.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
And it was just a rush to get back to that.
Well, do you go from COVID and the touching thing, do you worry about lawsuits for your hand placement?
That's one of the reasons for gloves as well. Photographers, it's easier to see your hands.
Yep.
And
we're very aware
you're
of that.
Taught, or certainly made aware that you always want your hands visible, whether you're on your lap, whatever. You never want your hands to be hidden, because that's where the questions come from. So gloves helps a lot with that. It makes it very easy.
Did you have to worry about that when you were first starting, or is that just more in the last few years it's become more of a concern?
I was always aware of it, and careful.
So it may be a late 2000 thing anyway, or 2000.
I think so.
Yeah. I think again, that's more of the personality of the Santa. Some of them like to be on the edge. I mean, it's like being a Santa is like anything else. If you want to get in trouble, there's plenty of opportunity. You want to address that?
Well, from the perspective I think you're going with.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
It's been somewhat frustrating and somewhat surprising that at a number of events, women would come up and make absolutely inappropriate statements, want to do inappropriate things with Santa. I've had them say, "Are you really married to Santa?" Yes, I am. So I've had some very puzzling reactions, mainly from women, more so women than men. And you really wonder at times too, your child is right there. Are you aware that your child is right there? And we're having this discussion. But I have been asked to step away from the set because someone wanted to have their own definition of what they thought was a funny or a naughty photo. Now, Santa's very good about, there are certain things he will not allow and will shut down. But I've just been surprised at the number of people that would even approach that.
That's one of the things I've always told Daneta, and I'm so thankful for her because I don't have to deal with it nearly like I did when I didn't have Mrs. Claus there. And I love the fact, some Santas, they have a Mrs. Claus that's not their wife, but I'm grateful that she's there as is my wife, and I could say, look, this is who we are, and say no, and we've had to turn people away because they're just ridiculous. But yeah, that is a problem.
Well, do some clients require background checks or things like that?
Most venues,
we
have them.
We offer them for
Mm-hmm.
In fact, we take multiple every year just so there's no question.
And I think that's really a good trend. Even the trend about making sure that Santas are on the up and up and the hand placement and all that stuff. Well, certainly it's sad that we have to be concerned about those things nowadays.
Yeah.
It's ultimately good because, the benefit of that is one less child could be molested or could have been impacted or damaged. So there's less opportunity now. There's always been evil in the world and there always will be. So I think that's the positive side, that there's less opportunity now for that.
Do you have to carry liability insurance? Or do you for just in case?
Just in case.
Just in case.
We are a litigious society.
Yeah, that's sad, but I
It
know
is.
you have to.
But you do in your own yard, you do in your own house,
That's
you do
true. That's
in your vehicle. So it's no different than the rest of society from that perspective.
That's true too.
The nice thing about the Santa world is, as you meet them more, you'll see it. The good Santas, they stay. They don't do it for the money. They don't do it for the notoriety. They do it because they love it. They love the just the goodness of. It's a heart deal. It really is. And I've seen Santas come and go, and you don't even have to weed them out. They'll go out on their own. And so that's a good thing about the Santa community. For the most part, they're just guys. They want to bring joy to somebody. They want to do the right thing. And that's why the ones I know, I trust them. We trust each other, and we help each other if we can. I mean, we want them to succeed. I can't be everywhere, but I want people to experience, what I offer. But I mean, that's why I'm glad to be a part of the Santa community. Not just me. I'm not, I'm an ambassador. That's what I do. I don't get into the big deal. So there are guys that have always said, I am the Santa. It's not going to happen. I'm sorry. but we all are a part of that.
It seems like Oklahoma has a pretty tight-knit group of.
We do.
And we're grateful for
Yeah.
that. We really. But we have to take care of each other because we're not young.
I know
We
that's
have
the.
to do it.
When do you age out, or how do you know when it's time to
Yeah.
hang out the suit?
You know, I mean, it's even like us. We're not getting younger, so we talk about slowing down some. But it's hard. It's just like we had that discussion between us, and I'd say, well, all right, here's the list. Who you're going to X out, because we love it all. I love what we do. And we do so many different things, but it takes a toll. I mean, really, when the season's over, we are literally exhausted. When she talks about taking the month of January away, we don't even answer the phone all the time.
It's staying the lazy boy for a while.
I tell you.
Oh.
And it's really, for us, it's changing because, for the first time in my life, I'm not working full time besides Santa. And Santa for us is nearly a full-time occupation for those 2 months. Well, now 3 almost.
Mm-hmm.
So take me through a typical day during season.
There are no typical days,
Okay. Okay.
but that's okay.
Fair
for
enough.
us, it really is the calendar. The calendar, we know, okay, if this is a long day, we know we have to be prepared. And that means taking care of ourselves. I mean, having availability for something to eat. You'd be amazed how, if you don't do your due diligence, you will not eat. Because people don't, and we don't like to eat in front of people anyway. But most people, they didn't hire you to feed you. Most people.
And yet you don't want to say, it's 11:15. I need to go get my sandwich.
My stomach's growling.
Yeah, that doesn't quite work out.
So we try to
That's
ask people, hey, if we can in our schedule with them, we'll say, all right, we're going to step aside, maybe for 20 minutes here.
Check the reindeer.
Yeah.
Check the reindeer.
But I mean, we have to figure in travel time, which before that you have to have prepared, getting ready, dressed. So, I mean, if you're working 12 hours in that day, you're also got to add in drive time and dress and things like that. I mean, there's a lot to it.
Do you dress here or do you dress there? Or just
We
Whatever it
dress.
takes.
We
Typically
usually like to dress here. It's not hard to travel unless it's a long distance in costume. But
The glove laundry pile is very big.
I
So you got to
Yeah.
find some time to do some glove laundry. You can't buy enough gloves
usually have a
to
pair
get you
in
through 2
each
months
pocket.
of 12-hour days. You just can't buy that many. Or I haven't so far.
And drink a lot of water. You gotta stay hydrated.
There you go.
I do. Yep. You don't want to
Well,
drink
the
too
house
much
looks
water
different.
because that leads to other issues.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And
And do you keep a supply of candy? I mean, through the year, do you?
We don't
Collected
do
or
as
you-
much candy.
Okay.
Couple of reasons. One, some children don't like it. There's allergies. There's the sticky gooey that's going to, come back to me. We've gone more to, we'll hand out stickers. Every child loves a sticker. And so we usually do I met Mr. and Mrs. Claus or something like that and give them a sticker to try. Now, different venues do have cookies or candy or venues like that, which is fine. Typically, we'll ask them to do that after the picture. Don't have them come up with the candy, on us.
breakfast with Santa is a problem because,
Yeah.
syrup is.
Yeah, doesn't
Not
look good
good.
in his beard. So stickers have worked out really good for us, or any sort of handout.
And all the stickers that we use are personalized. They have our pictures on them.
Okay.
So they see us, they know they saw us. It's really funny because we've been places before where there might be a Santa close by, but these kids, they have our sticker on.
And that's one of the things that they try, that the Oklahoma Santas work very hard to make sure there's never two Santas anywhere close to each other, because that's wildly confusing to a child. So they do a really great job about that. The only probably 1 or 2 times that I've seen it was pure innocence with the, didn't know, didn't realize, the venue that hired them didn't realize this guy hired one and this guy hired one, and they both arrived. So it's usually a mistake when that happens. But for the most part, we haven't had much trouble with it. Really haven't.
Well, during season, do you do anything special treatment with your beard and all of that, or?
I really don't. It's just pretty much, that's just my beard. And I see some of the guys, I'm envious at times because they can tweak them up pretty good. But I'm pretty much, this is me.
You do it yourself, or do you go to a barber that takes care of? Oh, okay. That comes in handy.
There you go. It does, especially when it's midnight 30. You know, I don't know of a hairdresser that would be on call at 12:30 or 4:30 in the morning when you need to be somewhere at 6.
You start that early.
Well, we have the one that comes to mind is Red Andrews Christmas dinner.
We have done we've done the Red Andrews deal. I have for 13 years.
I don't know what that is.
That is
really okay.
In Oklahoma City every year. It used to be always on Christmas Day until the COVID actually changed it. But it was a dinner put on by the Red Andrews Foundation now.
It's a human.
And but it's just for the people of Oklahoma City. I mean, anybody can come. And they used to do it at the convention center downtown when it was all the different things, Cox and everything else. But they opened up downtown Oklahoma City to the public. And mainly done for in honor of people that don't have a Christmas, and make sure everybody got a hot meal. And they have toys, they have had bicycles and coats, hygiene kits. I mean, what people in need when they came, they took care of them. Wonderfully done. It was always done with volunteers, and so the people that came to eat. And there would be hundreds. I mean, they were cooking for
10,000.
10,000.
Wow.
And but everybody that came, they had a volunteer that would take them through the line. So because a lot of people carry their worldly possessions with them, so you had a volunteer that they filled your plate. I mean, traditional Thanksgiving type dinner with the dessert and drinks and all that stuff. And they would seat them at the tables, and then they would bus their tables when they were done. So those people enjoy their meal. If they had family, the whole family could come. The kids, there were toys for every kid. Pictures with Santa. And you got to do it before COVID, right? Yeah, you did.
Mm-hmm.
So we would be on the stage up there and literally have, oh yeah. We would start, because they start lining up at 4 a.m. So we would come early. We'd meet a lot of volunteers and different things. We would sit on the stage. The line would be around the convention center, literally hundreds of people in line at all times. And it was amazing. Mm-hmm. It really was. And we met those families. And it was heartwarming too, because I started before she was a part of my Santa group, Santa life. But it was amazing how many people would come and bring their family, and they would bring their pictures from the previous years. And they would tell me, Santa, you were here, this is you. I'd be in that picture every year. I'm part of the family, literally. And they would say, this is the only picture we had of our family last year, every year. And I thought, how special is that? But I'd get to meet them, see them again. Yep, I saw you before. I'm glad you're back. It was wonderful. But then COVID came and they quit having the dinner. So they started having drive-through deals where people could come. They didn't all drive, of course. But anybody that came would just get their meal in a sack.
A kit. Yeah, meal kit.
And then we would have toys, and we would give out toys. But they had to do that outside. It was cold.
So we walk the cars and hand out toys and do whatever.
We would walk the cars or stand in line or whatever.
Same thing.
And,
it's not as
and we would experience. And we had to wear a mask and everything. Mm-hmm. But it was not the same. So we missed the dinner. Mm-hmm. I mean, we missed being inside. But we've been outside
since COVID.
At least they haven't
started.
reverted
I
back.
have not yet.
So
The convention center, I think there are things going on at the convention center that they have not, there's not been an opportunity to go back to that. So they've continued to search for a venue that's large. Downtown was really ideal. It really was.
but we've done that for years and years. But it's something when you look out and see 500, 600, 800 people in line.
Christmas spirit's alive.
It really
Isn't
is.
it?
It really is.
It's,
And again, the barriers go down. Nobody cares.
yeah, people are glad to do
Nobody
it.
cares. They're just glad to be here. They're thankful for the moment. They're thankful for anything that they're given. It's all good.
Do you have to keep up with what the current trends are for toys?
Mm-hmm. It's easier when we have little grandchildren.
Yes.
Needless to say, we're literally more current. Before we had the last two grandchildren, we would watch commercials or watch some of the shows, you know, the various kid shows to do just that, to keep up, to know the lingo. Because you don't want to
It's
say,
hard
I've
to
never
keep
heard of
up
that.
with, though,
It
isn't
really
it?
is.
For the last few years, little girls in Frozen, it's pretty easy.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. That's true. My Little Pony's about to get her, I think. Then.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's. But we.
Some of them ask for cell phones.
Oh yes.
Surprisingly big number.
But we kind of steer them away from it. We just tell them, Santa specializes in toys, and so we kind of steer them away from laptops and whatever's.
And pets have to have parental approval.
Yeah, we tell
We
'em.
can't tell you, we can't promise you a pet.
But if you want a stuffed puppy, we can help you
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So,
It makes you feel like you want to go buy something for someone and take it to their house. Have you had
Absolutely.
times
So
like
many
that?
times.
we've
Absolutely.
done that.
You have done it.
Sure, we have.
It'd be hard not to sometimes, I think.
There are some, there's always a few that are just, their requests are so special. I mean, they're really heartfelt, and hey, we like to bring happiness. So we've done it.
If we've got the ability to fix it, cure it, whatever, solve it, go. Let's do it. We're
Yeah.
very blessed to be able to.
Yeah. It all goes back to seeing yourself in the mirror with a beard.
Mhm.
Was your hair gray at that point?
No,
It's still
my
not.
hair's
No.
it's still not
It's
gray.
blondish.
Mine looks like yours.
Mhm.
You and I are very similar.
He
But
has to pay for that.
I have to pay for this.
Everything from the
Everything from the eyebrows up.
Oh, you have it dyed. You have it dyed. Oh, okay. I should have started with that question and said it's not natural, huh?
It's not.
Everything, the eyebrows, the beard is all untouched. But
But the hair.
but
is
everything from above that,
fine,
It's
isn't
at least as dark as yours.
and you look nice. So
Uh-huh.
thank you.
Mhm.
it? So how often do you have to have it done? At least right before season, you'd have to do it.
Every 4 weeks.
Oh, regardless, I guess.
He stays that way
I
all year.
I used to
Can
did
you do it too, or does he have to go
No,
someplace and do it?
no.
I go someplace.
I'm not qualified for that.
My hair gal is wonderful.
It's the same girl that does my hair.
But
Woman,
she doesn't have hers dyed at all.
No.
Hers is her.
Hers is perfect.
Hers is
for
her
this.
hair. But mine, in fact, my friend Santa Dan, I know you met him. He's one of my detractors. If I haven't been to the hair gal, he goes, "Hey, skunk boy, what are friends for?"
Yeah, really. Keep
Well,
you honest.
Yeah, you had said you would consider him a mentor.
Yes, and a wonderful friend. I did not, like I said, I had never seen a Santa, never seen one work. I had the privilege of, somebody told me about him. That's how I met him. I called him, and I just told him, I said, I just have questions. I don't know what to do. I want to be a Santa. I want to try to do what Santa does. And he was gracious enough to give me some of his time. And so we've been friends ever since. He told me I should not. He just said, "I don't know if you got the stuff." But he stayed with me, and he's always been good. I don't know that I could have ever done what I've done without his help.
Well, and do you have someone that you're mentoring? Have you been asked similar questions by someone wanting to be Santa?
I have. I'm not as good at it as he is. I look at people, and I have two people in mind that I know of that I know I've made a difference. One in particular, and I'm happy for him because he loves doing it too. He's still working, so he doesn't pursue it like I do now. And I don't really pursue it. I mean, it's come to me.
It
I
pursues you.
can't do that.
Mhm.
Yeah, but he wants to do more, and so I've tried to help him with that.
So you officially retired from being a farmer this year?
Yes,
Not all aspects.
I keep a few cows. I have a couple tractors I still use. But
So is this property, was it your parents' property too at some point?
no,
No. Okay.
no.
So you don't have that pressure to keep it in the family and keep farming.
I still have the
He still
family.
has that
I still
place.
have the
Okay.
family farm, but I don't have the pressure now. I'm glad. I know. I tell Danita, I said, I consider us to be people of faith, and for me, doing this, I felt like it's a calling, but I never did it above being a farmer. I mean, I needed to do my job, and I did it. Retiring for me has been different, and I tell her, I really think God has taken me out of farming, and I'm really glad because I wouldn't have done it on my own, but circumstances kind of made it where I had to. And I look back, and it really started about 2 years ago, I guess. But it just had to be. I mean, things had to stop. And I look back now, and I'm glad because some of the things that have happened, even in that short time, I'm glad I didn't have to deal with it. I mean, the price of crops have plummeted, and the work is no less. And I don't have the pressure to do it. And I'm glad.
And you don't have to keep up with the weather
Right,
Mhm.
that's right.
and drought and water and all that.
And with my grandkids coming into our life more and more, and to be able to spend time with her more and more, I'm really grateful for where I am instead of where I would have been. So, and even, the pressure now to do Santa, I always had other things, like I would have to come back and feed cattle, or I had a lot that I had to do even when I was so busy with Santa. I don't have to do that now. So it's made it a lot better.
Well, you can do Santa year round then.
I could.
Mhm.
I don't feel pressured to do that either.
So how old are you? Or do you want to say? You don't have to say.
1700.
54. That's actually St. Nicholas would have been that. I'm
You don't have to say.
I'm
Okay.
67.
You've got about 20 more years to do Santa then.
Maybe.
Pushing until you're 90, maybe.
I will if I can.
It seems to me like most of them seem to stop when they start to either feel or appear frail.
Okay.
Because
And that's different for
that's
everyone
not. I think most of them stop because that's not the look that you want Santa to portray. So as they do get frail, most of them will step back.
I wonder when they age out. There's not a set time.
And it
when they
varies.
age out,
Yeah, different people. Some people never get to that step.
Well, I guess if you just get to this, it's it before people see you.
Mhm.
You can go longer.
Mhm.
It's when you work a room.
Uh-huh.
working
Yeah.
in a room
Absolutely.
That would
Yeah.
be more
Because it can be
challenging.
very physically demanding.
Mhm.
It really can. From the hours and from the performance that you
But-
might be asked to do.
Back to the point you asked a question earlier about how it's changed. One of the things when I started, and like I said, I've completed 13 years. So I started in 2011. It was really a lot more driven just by photography. There were you sat in studios, or you sat in a mall, or you made home visits, but they weren't as prevalent. The difference that really has probably changed the most is to be a really active Santa. You really do a lot more performance now than you did, because anybody can sit in a chair, basically, take pictures. But for those Santas that are really better known, they go and they work in a setting where they're performing. You talk about, maybe you sing a little, maybe you tell the stories. You still take the pictures, but the things that people remember and people are looking for more and more now are performances. And so I think that's what's changed a lot in what I've seen. And, Daneta's really marvelous. She can do anything. She has a vivid imagination. And that's important.
I mean, you have to keep it refreshed, I guess. You can't do the same thing year after
Agree.
year after. You got to do a
Right.
little something.
That's right.
You don't want the
Something.
child to see the same things year after year.
Yeah,
after
that would
year.
be hard to come up with
It
something.
is. And so that's one of the things that I think has changed the most is, and even mall Santas, they're dying. I mean, they're just, that's not the setting that people are looking for as much. They want something different. And that's okay.
In the malls, do they do reservations now? I was thinking, or you
Not
just,
the one that
Not
that we
not the
do.
ones that we do, but some do.
I think that's a change that
Yeah. And that's
have to
what
stand in line for 2 hours.
but
with a
that's
small
what people
child?
want. They don't want to
Ooh.
stand in line. I mean, that's right.
That's rough.
But we've changed a lot because we do a lot more. We really do a lot more stuff for, I'm going to say, special groups. I mean, one of the things that you want to talk about the group that we were with last year. I don't know if they had a name for them, but that they were like autistic children, people that couldn't be in an environment with loud noises, or it really had to be a very intimate setting, and it had to be very designated. I don't know what this focused. Thank you. That's good. That's why I keep it.
That was one of my favorite stories and experiences. They had organized it well, where they had the children as they would come in. They had little stations where they could stay busy, and they worked their way. It was a long, skinny room where they worked their way up to the front where Santa
Where we
and
were.
Mrs. were. And this one family, there were 2 boys. One was older and one was very young. As I recall, they were both challenged.
Yes.
And so the older boy had come up and was visiting with Santa, and we had a volunteer photographer. He was sitting about where you are. And the little one was very hesitant, very shy, and he walked right up and he kept looking at the photographer's camera. And the photographer just reached over and he invited this child in and set that child on his lap. And that child sat there and held that camera. If I I would have paid $1 billion to have taken that picture right there. It was so amazing and so magical. He was at ease. He was comfortable.
That's how he
The older
connected.
child was talking to Santa. He did get down and come. It wasn't a great picture. The little guy was still hesitant of the big guy in the red suit. But it was just it's going to be one of I will never, ever forget that sight of, again, the walls went down. It didn't matter. That child enjoyed being invited into someone's world, and he experienced what it was like to be behind the camera. It was
The whole
so
group
cool.
that we were part of were children that could not go somewhere in a public setting and have their picture made. They were just, their world wouldn't allow it. But we just spent the time. We were quiet. We made sure that we kept the setting as low key as we could, and I guess the whole thing, the gist of this whole story is, when we finished, every child that came took a picture that was good. Some way it was good. And we worked at it. We worked hard at it. We spent a lot of time. But all the parents, I think every one of them was in tears because they had been so many places. But their child could not do this. But we just spent so much time, and it was awesome to just see that given enough time and the proper setting, they got what they wanted. They had, some of them said they'd never had a picture, a Christmas picture with their child. And it was great.
There's a little bit of normal.
And so what I'm saying is we have kind of gravitated to where we do more and more of that. We go to places, and we can function in, the normal setting. But we've got where we do a lot of stuff in the hospitals where kids are hurting or shy or whatever. We just make it special for them. And in turn, it's special for us.
We had a mom last year at Mercy NICU and they have nurses that volunteer that take the pictures. And one of the moms took videos, I can't remember what it was, and some of the pictures she took were just amazing. And it's the same story, it's just a different setting, a different child, with how thankful they were that, that child may not make it to Christmas. They may not actually see Christmas. And they do such a great job of, they will take these tiny, tiny little humans and they will set them in a stocking where you don't see all the wires and all the things. And Santa just holds them right there. So you can't even really, if you didn't know and you didn't know to look for that wire or that cord, you wouldn't know it wasn't just any other picture in any other photography studio. That will change your life forever. Really will. That's awesome. And it's addictive.
And you have to step out in the hall and cry a little bit before you move to the next.
Yeah, we do that too.
We do. We try to keep that in the car.
But it's special because it's even like when we went down to the Bethany Children's Hospital, they had their announcement or whatever.
Groundbreaking.
Groundbreaking. Thank you.
For their new facility.
For their new facility, and we didn't even we just went because we are excited to be a part of
like
what
this,
they do. Yeah, we went like this, but even then the kids, some of the kids were out and they recognized us, and we love to be a part of it because what they do is so special, and I guess we just kind of gravitated to that. That's my word.
Mm-hmm. You're not in it for the money. You're doing goodwill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we do all that for volunteer. We don't take money for that. So it's fun. That's what I laugh because some of the corporate people, and we're well taken care of. We're compensated. But I tell them, I said, don't feel bad because they're glad we're there. But I just said, you help us go to the places where we want to be just to share. Mm-hmm. We get to go there because, you make that possible. And that's okay.
I think it would be neat to be in your shoes for a day. You should try it.
You could be an elf. You ever considered being an elf?
I would probably cry as much as you.
Oh, it's okay.
I have a tender heart too when it comes to things like that too. So you
Come
almost
be our
have to
elf.
have
You pick
to
a
be
year.
good Santa. You have to have a tender heart too, don't you?
You do.
I think.
But
You'd fit right in.
We've seen, we've had the opportunity to give away cars and horses. Lots of special things. People just say, would you do this? Oh yeah,
sure.
I love it.
Do you come back? Do you keep a journal? You need to be keeping a journal.
That's a good point. We do not.
We really don't.
We should go through and start to write down the, I guess, prevalent memories of each year.
Yeah.
We really should. That's a good idea.
At least, and then current season once a week or something. Write down what touching.
That's a great idea.
Happened this week. Add it to your to-do list.
Well, Well, we
But-
could write it in January. We
Yeah.
won't write it.
Or at least, well, we have to leave yourself notes on how to write it in January, because you'll forget some of the.
But I mean,
Right.
even stuff like family memories, I can remember that. And I'm sorry, honey, I can't remember if you were there or not, because this is kind of.
It's all
Isn't
good.
But I know one year there was a big family that came in, and they had a bunch of kids that were, high school, college age, and so the parents wanted the kids. So this was in the mall, and so just talked to parents into getting in with them, which was cool. And I don't know, got it anyway. There was one lady, she was standing in the back. Well, it turned out that's Grandma. She's like 90 years old. And so, Santa wants, come talk to Santa. No. Yeah, so she came in finally. We visited a little bit. So she had never had her picture made with Santa. Well, you should do that. So, no. She finally did. She took a picture with. So then we get a picture with the family, So we get the whole family picture. And it was really fun. They had a good time. Good people. Well, they come back the next year, And I was fortunate enough to recognize it. That's the other thing. You see people, and
Repeat.
we have people that have 14, 13 years of us, or me, with us now. They came back the next year. But Grandma wasn't there. And so, I'm glad we got that. And they're really thankful too. So we take another one without her, but we remember Grandma. So it's fun. I mean, it really is.
How has all of this impacted how you celebrate Christmas with your families
It does me.
here?
And we always celebrate Christmas on New Year's
New Year's
Day.
Day. Because we don't, like December 26th, we're exhausted. We've tried it. We've done it
Yeah.
on the 26th. But it's just not as, you need to be present.
Do you decorate, put up a tree and decorate?
No, I do
No?
not. No, the
Tell her
5-year-old granddaughter says this year we need to put up a tree. I have a little felt tree.
Yeah, we have a felt tree we hang on the wall.
And she said, well, Grandma, you just need to start before November. Just put your tree up before. Okay. She's going to help me. Okay.
Put it
We'll
up
see if we get there or not.
Put it up on Halloween.
Yeah. It's about what it would take.
Well,
Somehow that seems wrong. I don't know.
Yeah.
we actually have a 9 or 10 foot
Yeah,
tree. It's a
as
big
tall
old
as the-
tree.
It's as tall as the roof.
But I mean, it's
good.
just.
But one more job is just not something I'm interested in.
Oh, you could do it in July if you're doing these other things.
Oh, there you go.
Christmas in July and have your family photos made ready.
In fact, we did a Christmas in July event on the 4th of July this year, and they had a Christmas tree behind us, and they had flags and red and white blue memorabilia on there. It was a great look. What a great idea. So maybe I just need to leave one in here year round, and on Halloween put ghosts, and on Christmas put a Christmas ornament. I don't know. Maybe that's what we need to go to. Just leave it up.
I don't know why I thought of another story when I got scared. Do you want to hear another scary story?
Sure.
This is before Danita was with me, but one year I was in the mall. I guess the mall's a scary place. I keep thinking
Apparently.
both. Anyway,
They have changed a lot too. So
They have.
Go ahead.
That's true.
anyway, I was on the set, and it was kind of a lull, kind of quiet, and this lady came up, and I can't remember what she said originally, but anyway, she was real nice, but she was really having a tough time. She was having a kind of bad day. And so I was just talking with her. We visited a little bit. So I don't remember the whole thing that she said, but I was able to just talk with her, and she said, well, she had some health problems and different things. And she was really blue. So we just talked for a little bit. So I talked to her about some happy things. you know, it's Christmas and the joys of Christmas. I love Christmas. I mean, the joy of Christmas. So she was talking about she had some health issues and different things. She wanted to know if I could do something for her. I said, well, you know what? It's really Santa's. That's not my deal. I'm not a doctor or anything. But said, all I can do for you. Said, you know, I know the great physician. Oh, yeah. So she says, well, tell me about that. I said, okay. So I just told her, said, you know, I believe that God looks over us and he keeps his eye on us. You know, I think that's where we should focus. So I told her, I said, I'll pray with you. Okay. So I prayed with her. And there's nobody else around really. It was quiet. So sent her off. So she just got up. She says, you know, I actually feel better now. I just feel better. I'm glad. I said, I want you to feel better. I hope you have a great day. And I just know that I love you. God loves you too. She goes on down there. And she had told me, the other thing she told me, that she was traveling. She was from Ohio. She wasn't from around. No, I don't know why that. Anyway, so I just send her on her way. I don't even think about it. I'm just so more people start coming. We're visiting. And after about 20 minutes or 30 minutes, there's the last one and there's a little lull again. So I'm just kind of stretching a little. And this guy comes out of the blue and he's like, are you the Santa that was talking to my wife? I don't know. I've talked to a lot of people. I want to know what you said to her. Okay. And I thought he was going to beat me. I mean, I thought he was going to pound me. I didn't even know what. So I'm looking for something. So I'm finally thinking, well, I talked to this lady. So I said something like, are you from Ohio? Yes. What did you say to my wife? I said, you know, I just told her that, you know, I hope things are better for her. And then I just wished her a Merry Christmas and I'll just encourage her to look for the good. I don't know, but he said, it's the first time I've seen her smile in a month. I don't know what you did, but thank you. And he just turns around and walks off. And I went from going, I was scared to death. And there he goes. But again, it's just, I just wanted her to be happy. I just wanted to share something good with her. And I guess it was good. It worked. But that was, you never know. People are so different. And I didn't even know where I was with him. But whatever it was, he just wanted to let me know that I must have worked the right thing.
So there's probably a lot more of those stories that haven't been shared with you too. Your reach has been.
I need a heads up every once in a while.
Well, you're great. I think I can see why.
I think so too.
Yes.
I love what I do. That's what I tell
It
people.
comes
I do
through
love
loud
what
and
I
clear.
do.
Yes. I think we're running out of time. So, anything else you want to add before I ask my last question?
I'm glad to get to share. It's one of the things that I love to listen to other Santas too. But every once in a while, I think I don't even think about my own stuff enough. Mm-hmm. I could think of a lot of other stories, but I don't want to just ramble.
We may have to come back around for a round two at some
There you
point.
go.
So, well, today we'll end up with my last question. Is when history is written about you, it can be you as Santa or you as Larry and Daneta, whichever. How do you want to be remembered?
I really want to be remembered just like I am. Because I really do, like I said, I believe in the Lord. I believe in what He leads us. And if I have lived in a way that I want people to remember me, I hope that I've done it now. And I love the opportunity to be Santa. I love what it represents. But I love my life as a farmer, and I love my community. I mean, I grew up here. I hope I've made a positive difference in the lives around me, including my wife and my children and my friends. I just want to remember I meant it. That's what it is. I meant it.
And that will be his legacy. It can't be anything else, because he is truly genuine in all things that he does. There's no show, there's no performance, even though we talk about performing. It's not a performance. It's just who he is.
What does Santa represent? You said that, used that phrase. What does Santa represent in your mind?
In all honesty, I mean, you know, St. Nicholas himself was a part of history. And I believe that Santa kind of bridges the gap between people that don't know, in my opinion, don't know Jesus. I mean, he represents good. He represents the opportunity to share a love in so many ways. I mean, I see so many needs. I can't fill them all. But by sharing what somebody that is a giver, Santa represents a giver, crosses all lines. I mean, diversity, he doesn't discriminate. And that's how I feel. I mean, I want people to know everybody deserves to be loved and to be happy. And life is not like that. But we can all make a difference. And that's why I love to work. I work for a lot of charities, because people that can make a difference. And sometimes they just need a nudge.
Who better to nudge than Santa?
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, it's your turn. How do you want to be remembered, Daneta?
Maybe just as, I would hope that Mrs. Claus, like probably most wives would think of, is to be an encourager, to be a complimenter of what he does, to help him when he's tired, and to those children there are children that are afraid of, if a child has never seen facial hair and he's sitting there in this big red suit and somebody's pushed this child at this man and said, go hug this person. Sometimes I can be the intermediary that says, it's okay. A womanly figure sometimes is less threatening. And so we can start slow. You can start on this leg, and then you can start on this leg, and then you can graduate to the big guy. So I think it's just that I could be someone that helps widen his already wide circle of influence.
I could be a better pair. You two are great.
We do love what we do.
We do.
You say Merry Christmas or Happy Christmas in your Santa voice for us as we end.
Sure. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Our pleasure.